what it is that I need to work on to help me to get to that strength. And as mentioned earlier, it's not so much about a discipline and I need to sit down for 45 minutes in the morning and I need to sit down for 45 minutes in the evening, but it's about an attitude, just being in the world. And so the attitude, as far as I'm concerned, and you can make up your own acronym and decide what it is that you need to have. And that is compassion, acceptance, trust, and then if I add on S, let's make it cats, then I would say the methodology for the exploration and the excavation of that is silence. That I need silence. And how at the present time that even the world itself is much more silent than it usually is. It's almost like as if it's reciprocating or giving me an opportunity to see that inside my own self. And how to that as I reach for these qualities, as I begin to look at the world and see the other with that acceptance as to who they are or where they are, because not everyone can be at the same place in terms of the journey that we're on. But the attitude of compassion for everybody, and it is whatever, it's just a law. I think we all should know it by now, that whatever it is that you're putting out will return to you. And so in a kind of a way, in reaching for compassion, then it's like saying to the resentments that are in me, move over, or even ultimately get out, because compassion need to fill that space, or acceptance, whatever it is. So as you reach for something higher to create that strength within yourself, then the old things start to be removed. And it is a basic idea within the philosophy of the Brahma Kumaris that we learn from day one, that the focus is never going to be entirely constructive if we only go about it by thinking we have to negate this, we have to erase that, we have to stop the other thing. That is low energy process. Rather, it is about remember who you are, remember that all of the beauty and the creativity and the love and the happiness that you seek are already yours. And so it's a redefining of yourself, giving yourself your original ID, and then reminding yourself that you are that. And so can you see how one is low energy work and the other is going to encourage something else? You keep telling yourself that you're useless or you're afraid or whatever. And it's almost like as if the universe says, okay, that's what you want to believe, then I'll feed that back to you. And so it's like I see with people who even have an attitude of being poor. It doesn't mean that people aren't poor, don't have difficulties in terms of finances and food and everything else. But even then, they can still have a sense of generosity, whatever, the classic hero that even though they have so very little, they have a willingness to share. And so if I constantly have the thought that I have to hoard and I have to keep it for me because there's going to be a need, well, you will only ever have the fear that it will be taken away from you. Whereas with an attitude of generosity and trust, trusting the universe and time and whatever else, we're not talking now about our politicians or even our religious leaders or anybody else, but trusting even the outcome of your own story. It's almost like as if that subtlety and that trust, something beyond faith, that it will reciprocate and that you will begin to feel its bounty and its magnificence. And to the extent where you no longer even have to worry about getting rid of this or diminishing that or proving something, but gradually your persona begins to change. The worry diminishes, the fear. Someone said recently, and I liked it very much, that, and I know we won't have time to get into it now, but that anger is to do with the past. And I would say along with that, the anger is usually a manifestation of some hurt that has been done in the past. And that fear is to do with the future. But being in the present, means to be soul conscious, to be aware of yourself as an eternal and immortal being who has everything that is needed for this moment, and to develop your own core of strength. And I suppose in a kind of a way, just like if the plant is to grow and evolve, then it needs good soil. And I think a very important thing is the company that you keep, because some company will serve to affirm everything negative that you believe about others, even about yourself. And so it requires that little bit of courage to go for the company that is going to give you a different image of yourself. Mostly, I would hope, of that which at the core of you is really good and is spiritual and is subtle, but through the strength of that you are not overly sensitive even then to hearing maybe something that might be a little bit critical, and you're not taking it as criticism, but rather as something that you have to self correct. And so the importance then of company, of what it is that you're, the whole, I was in the grocery store the other day, and the lady who was bagging the groceries, she says, "Oh, how are you? And what kind of a day are you having?" I said, "A wonderful day." And she said something about, these times and everything. I says, "Yes, there's a lot of time." "Oh," she says, "you must be able to watch a lot of television." And I said, "I don't have a television." And she said, "You don't? What do you do then?" And so ultimately she took a card for the meditation center. And so it's like that. Discipline is very connected, I think, with an awareness of time. I was sharing how in the Brahma Kumaris, Thursday is very special. And it's the one day early in the morning when I guess it's the closest you could come in the Brahma Kumaris to a ritual. And so because I am here by myself and nobody is able to come, then I find that I have to do everything. And so I've been enjoying the discipline of that, of getting up earlier than normal, and it's to do with food, it's to do with flowers, it's to do with preparation. You yourself have to be ready. And so on. And the feeling was that what is it that made me have that discipline? It's an awareness of time, that everything has to be done and ready by this particular time on the clock. And so the awareness of the time that we're now in, and there's never been a better time to reach for that strength or for that change in your own self. And that's what I think Madhvi and the Brahma Kumaris as an international body are here to do, as brothers and sisters of the whole of humanity. It's like just to present something to you that you ultimately will be able to do for yourself. Om Shanti. I think we'll have a little meditation for 5 minutes. Something else I heard. That the idea of the drop of water meeting the ocean, and the drop of water was frightened that in joining the ocean it would lose its individuality. And the ocean simply said to the drop, when you fall into the ocean, or when you come into the ocean, you become the ocean. And so meditation is an invitation from the ocean. Its strength, its ability to accommodate, and in this instance, not the physical ocean, but that divine presence that is of light, and of love, of warmth, understanding, acceptance. And I, the drop, the tiny soul, hesitant, wondering, and then in simply being quiet, all other thoughts ceasing, I have made space for that higher energy to reach me. and even embrace me. It's as if I am folded in, no resistance. And peace begins to flow through me. Becoming comfortable with and in my own self. And the whisper, is it my voice? Is it the voice of the ocean? I am peace. I am light. I am at home. Om Shanti.